Mike Bohn here at UFC Vancouver with Paul Felder. Going to do a little preview of the card, calling the action, Paul. Nice trip up to Canada. How are you enjoying it so far?
Man, I came here back in 2023. I think Vancouver's a really awesome place. Beautiful scenery and, on the water. And, again, the Canadian fans always bring it. Everyone's been super respectful, but just everywhere you go, people recognizing you. It's always a good trip up here.
Pretty solid card we got. We just wrapped up official weigh-ins not long ago. No issues on the scale. Everyone made weight. This is what you want to see, but interesting seeing Reinier and Brendan Allen up there. Like, kind of two different things. Brendan Allen said when he got the call for this fight, he'd never had so much weight to lose between that and fight time. Reinier obviously doing this 4 times in a year. What did you think of how they looked up there, as you would expect?
Yeah, I think all things considered that even Brendan didn't look too bad. The fact that he got on there pretty early too, right? He was one of the first guys to weigh in, I think, close to it.
He was in the first batch. Everyone did it inside an hour. So
that's always good to see, and especially when you've got a fight card where everybody is hitting the mark on the scale. That's just a good sign for how things are going to go on Saturday night. It means everyone's dialed in, everyone's on point, and especially shout out to Brendan taking it on short notice and stepping up. It's a massive opportunity for him. RDR is on an absolute massive win streak right now. Obviously, just having taken out Robert Whittaker in his last fight in a 5-round grueling type fight, very close fight. And there's lots of talks of, when this was fluffy, that this was potentially who's going to be next in line to face the champion. And I still think that's the case, especially for RDR. If he gets a win, no matter who wins, I think they have a say in making that claim that they should be next. But it's really going to be about how impressive they can do it.
And Nasruddin Imavov was out there, obviously very deserving, but I feel like there's been weeks and so much opportunity where UFC could have been like, he's the guy, and they're still leaving the door open.
Yeah, they're leaving it open, right? There's still a chance for one of these guys to go out there and do something spectacular. I think it's going to be hard to do because, Imavov looked absolutely incredible in his last fight. So we'll see, but a big finish, a big submission from one of these guys. If Brendan go out, God forbid he knocks him out in the first round or something like that, hops on the mic and says, I want this next. Well, that's how the UFC works sometimes. If you can stake your claim and make a big statement, you could slide in there. The rankings, they're kind of like a guideline.
Yeah. Is the underlying storyline of this main event interesting to you at all with the training, background? I know these guys didn't spend a lot of time, but hearing Brendan Allen talk about it, he thought certain people weren't going to involve themselves in this fight in the background, particularly Robbie Lawler, and he said he was kind of hurt by how much Robbie has been working with Reinier. He said he handled it the right way. He called him, he talked him through it, but still it seems like he's a little bothered. And when I mentioned that to Reinier, it got him a little fired up. He's like, what secrets are we hiding here? What's the big deal?
Yeah, when you talk to Reinier, he was pretty open that when he first got there, he tried to be cordial to Brendan, tried to go up, shake his hand, and just really wasn't having it. Wouldn't refuse to train with RDR. And I get both sides, right? When you're at a gym like that and there's guys in your division, it's weird to me, right? I never had that at any of the gyms I trained at where there was potentially going to be somebody that I'm training with that I could fight. But when you get these big gyms like American Top Team, you get the guys down in Florida, there's so many megastars on the mats at the same time. And when we interviewed RDR this week too, his wife was even in there, and she's like, he would go around Brendan and shake everybody's hand in the gym and skip right past RDR and didn't want anything to do with him. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. How bad does Brendan Allen need this one, do you think? You see the guy he's lost to and won against in the past few years. He's had this opportunity to break through, and he hasn't been able to get there. Does this feel like maybe he won't have this many more chances for a fight like this?
Yeah, I think he knows that, right? I think, especially with the way the division is looking, how many studs there are right now, this is one of those fights. If you want to get towards that belt and get your chance, this is now. He's coming off of a win. Now, if he can go out there and beat a streaking RDR and stake his claim, this is the time to do it. And I think he knows that you don't take these types of opportunities to just go in there and, I'm going to take it on short notice and we'll see what happens. I think he knows, okay, this is a guy that I can beat. We talked to him yesterday. He's full of confidence. He thinks he can out-grapple him. He thinks he can submit him if he needs to. And he thinks he can knock him out. He's not worried about the knees. He's really focused on that, thinks he's got an answer for it. And on the other side, RDR is the same way, man. These guys really seem to have solid game plans for each other and think that the fight's not even going to go the distance. They both are pretty confident that somebody's going to get finished.
Any chance the incredible activity from Reinier de Ridder at this level maybe catches up with him on Saturday? He did look more fatigued on the scale than he has in the past weigh-ins.
It's tough to make that weight that many times in a year. I mean, 4 times at this level is tough. He's a big boy too, right? Every time I see him, I really wonder how he even makes 185, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. If you can do it 4 times in a year, that's good. But also there's a benefit to that where you're never really letting your body get too far away from you. You're not blowing up out of camp because he's had consistent schedule where there's always something on the books. He's lining up. He's looking forward to the next match, where if you've got 6 months in between your fights, a lot of times you get a little bit out of shape. You can get a little bit fat. So for him, we'll see. Is there a little fatigue from maybe doing it too many times, especially, his second 5-rounder in a row? That's a lot of rounds. It's a lot of rounds to train for as well.
We obviously don't know how the fight's going to play out, but sitting here right now, like, who are you most interested in seeing Khamzat Chimaev defend his title against first?
Yeah, that's where this is really. That's why when Fluffy dropped out, because I think everyone was really curious to see how he would handle that pressure of Chimaev and that gas tank that he has, and he's a grimy kind of fighter too. I think I'm still most interested to see Imavov get the shot. I think he's put in the most time. But again, if somebody goes out there tomorrow and makes a huge statement, if Brendan goes in there and gets a KO, for example, I think he really would be interesting. But RDR, with the grappling that he presents and the jiu-jitsu skills, if he can sub somebody like Brendan Allen, it's a toss-up to me on who's going to get the shot.
It's fascinating. It's almost like kind of the year of activity and seeing how it's paying off. You see with RDR.
Mike, and that's something the UFC loves to reward, right? A guy like RDR, when you're constantly saying, what's next? This guy, no problem. Fluffy's out, Brendan's in, no problem. It doesn't matter to me. That gets rewarded a lot of the times. And same thing for Brendan. You step in on short notice, but I think for Brendan to skip the line over somebody like Imavov, I think that would be a tough sell.
Yeah, I think he knows that he might have to do one more after this. But as you said, the activity can pay off. You look at Merab Dvalishvili as well. But then you see on the flip side in the co-main here, Kevin Holland, his 5th fight of the year, where he's not winning them all. He's 2-2 this year, and he's back more. Like, I don't know, how do you think that it's easier when you're winning, I'm sure, to come back from these losses and still keep this active? It probably takes a little different mindset.
Kevin Holland is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to his fighting schedule. And when we talked to him at the fighter meetings this week, he made a really good point. He's talking to DC, and he's like, I'm going to do a 6th. Like, I'm not done. I've already agreed to this. I told the UFC this is what I want. They said they can make it happen for him. Win, lose, or draw tomorrow night. I think he's planning on getting a 6th one. And when we were like, DC's like, how do you do this? Like, this is too many fights. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, did you ever work a construction job? He's like, that's work. That's a job, and that's how he treats his fighting career. He's like, it's my job. I'm clocking in. Every time I go and fight, when's the next fight? This is what he does for a living. He doesn't have to get up and go do hard labor. And I thought that was really kind of amazing analogy where he's comparing it to guys that have to get up and just grind and go do these 9-to-5 jobs that don't pay anywhere near as much as what Kevin Holland's getting paid to go and fist fight. So it was a really good insight that he gave us on Thursday.
I wonder about him because obviously the activity is incredible. He was just knocked down for the first time in his UFC career the last time against D-Rod. Like, so you wonder, are we starting to see, the chipping away of his durability?
Yeah, are we seeing a little bit of some weakness in that armor? I don't know, man. And this is a really tough fight, especially with Mike Malott coming off that just absolutely devastating knockout over Chuck Buffalo in a fight that I was worried for Malott in that one. I'm like, Chuck Buffalo hits like a goddamn tank. And he put him out with that left hook and then follow up ground and pound. This is going to be a pretty violent fight, but I'm telling you, talking to Kevin, he doesn't think so. I think he thinks he's going to run right through Malott.
He seems very confident all week. 3rd fight from the top, the return of Chito, who kind of the other side of that, where he got knocked down for the first time in his last fight. And then he took the longest layoff of his career, said he cut down significantly on like the long running and is hoping for this turns into a quicker start, which is being tough for him. Ayman Zahabi on a great run here. He seems extremely confident, says he's going to outclass Chito. I'm very curious to see what version of Marlon Vera we get back now.
I really hope we see that fast start from Vera because, again, he talked to us a lot about that same thing where he was doing 18 to 20-mile runs on the weekends, which for me, you guys know I got into endurance sports. I love all that stuff, but I do think that there's a balancing act that you have to do with cardio and conditioning in the sport of MMA because at the end of the day, the longest that you're going to fight in a mixed martial arts fight is 25 minutes, the longest that you're going to fight. And this particular fight, it's a 15-minute fight. And I think Chito finally, because he loves it, he enjoys those long runs. He wakes up on Sunday, he trains with a lot of ultra runners, he was saying. So these guys go and they do these big long runs. They're doing it every day. But Chito's got to be explosive. You've got to be strong. And when you do those long distance runs, they break down muscle and they slow you down a bit, right? If you're training to run 8-minute miles for 20 miles, it's a completely different energy system than when you're going in there and trying to do, hard punch combos and do explosive takedowns. He talked about doing 2 times a week where he just does all out sprints instead. And he said in sparring, I'm feeling a little bit more tired. Then he's like, but my volume is through the roof compared to what it used to be. And it's like, yeah, it's okay to get tired in a round if you're busy. He's like, what's the point of having great cardio if I'm not going to be pursuing my opponent? He's like, I'm not getting hit a lot, but I'm also not dishing out a lot of the damage too. So yeah, we'll see. Can he get that mental block that he's got of, you gotta go, man. You've got it in you. When you get going in that second, third round, we see how good you are. So hopefully Chito can let it rip.
Yeah, and he's coming off a couple losses, but this feels like a very relevant fight at bantamweight just because Merab Dvalishvili is running through the division, and it's like, you can win one key fight and your turn can come just based off the schedule. So for Zahabi, obviously a great winning streak. He's there regardless, but Chito is one of those guys who's been here for a long time who hasn't fought Merab yet.
Yeah, and again, both these guys, I think, know that Merab's doing the work for everybody, right? When you keep just taking on whoever is next in the division, eventually you run out of people in the division. You got to start looking down those rankings. And Zahabi in particular was like, listen, I just got to win a fight or two, and I'm going to be next. As long as you win, somebody's going to be next because he's already fighting for the 4th time this year defending his belt. If he keeps that belt, and that's best case for these guys, right? I think at this point they want Merab to keep winning because if it changes hands, then it's like, all right, now
probably get a rematch.
Everything gets all mixed up and slows down the whole progress, and guys have to fight a lot more. So, yeah, the bantamweight divisions are just, I think a lot of guys are rooting for Merab unless you're the one fighting him and thinking, shit, I could be getting the call next.
Yeah. So impressive. He's your fighter of the year if he wins this fight in December, a lock.
How could he not be, right? Yeah, you go and rattle off 4 title defenses in a year, and you're getting the fan base behind you. Even Dana said, it took me a while to warm up to Merab, but I am very warm to Merab now.
Yeah, I think we all are. What's your interest level in Jasmine Jasnovic and Alfiero?
Super high, super high. I think Jasmine is really somebody that's just a standout female athlete right now in the UFC. She's a dog. She's coming off some big finishes. She's got 3 bonuses in her last 5 fights. She's just a new face for Canadian MMA, I think, too, right? She really could be the next potential hope for a champion coming out of Canada. Mike Malott as well, obviously getting back on track and looking good as of late. But Jasmine, every time we talk to her, she's just such a treat, man. She's such a dog. She's got such great energy and such good attitude, and she's got a really tough fight. And Menenol Fiora, I looked at some of her Instagram posts recently. She looks absolutely jacked for this fight.
It's interesting because these fighters on this card, Malott, Eamon, they kind of have this little Canadian fraternity. They've been on so many cards in a row. But Manon kind of infiltrated us. She went and trained at TriStars. So Eamon's at media days like, well, I love Jasmine, but she can't win this one. She came to our gym.
Yeah, she was. Jasmine was not happy about that. And she talked about, hey, listen, you've come into my country. You're training with my people. I'm going to have to smash you for that. So she took it in stride. But yeah, you could tell there's a little bit of okay, and not negative. She wasn't talking trash on TriStar or anything like that, but she kind of had this okay, come on, what are you doing? You're going to bring her in and help her out, but when you get somebody like Manon Fiora come to your gym, you're going to want to work with her, so I don't blame the TriStar boys either.
Great card. We could talk more about it. I want to ask you, outside of this, give me one title fight and one regular fight you're most excited for the rest of the year. I feel like the regular fight, I know what you're going to say. Sean Brady.
Yeah, Sean Brady going to MSG. I'm not working that card. I definitely want to go and see. And I just want to say, I love his attitude and his mental focus right now. This is a guy that could have sat and waited, and he didn't. He's taken on an absolute stud in Michael Morales, a young undefeated prospect but I like Sean's attitude. Let me get him now. I'm going to have to fight this guy eventually anyway. I might as well get this dub over him now, and eventually I'll be undeniable. And obviously I can't wait to see Aspinall fight coming up, next weekend? Yeah. I'm super excited that I'm going to be working the desk. Probably the last show I'll get to work with ESPN, so I get to go to Bristol, Connecticut, and kind of have a nice farewell to all the people that we've been working with for ESPN, so that'll be fun too. But yeah, I'm just so excited to see Tom finally get back in there as the undisputed heavyweight champion, because he's done a lot of waiting, and he is just fireworks every time we see him. And Cyril Gane has a massive opportunity right now to spoil the whole heavyweight division's party right now.
Fascinating. Have you gotten any insight on what your future looks like when 2026 turns and Paramount becomes the broadcast partner?
No, I mean, all things seem like everything's going to be on track, and I'll still be continuing on. I am going to be looking for a new contract coming up this new year anyway, so hopefully with all that going on and signing, that's kind of what we were waiting to see, was what TV deal were they going to go with before we renegotiated. But, I mean, hopefully I have a job starting in 2026, but I don't think I'm going anywhere.
I think you will. I think I speak for everyone out there. You're truly one of the best, man. You've done such a great job involving yourself. And are you pretty happy with like the spot you're in terms of that, or do you still see a lot of room for growth in your commentary game?
Always room for growth, you know. And I was talking to Brian Butler, my manager when I was a fighter and everything, and I've been working with the social media guy, and I'm trying to get back more on the mats as well. You know, I'm trying to reinvest my love for the sport even more so going into 2026. I feel like I got a little distracted with my own endurance training goals, and you know, I'm getting older, my hip is destroyed, and it's kind of made me reset and look back and think like, okay, I'm a martial artist at heart and always have been first, and getting on the mats and seeing these guys get to go through their journeys. Now I feel like being retired for as long as I have now, I've got a new set of eyeballs on the sport and how I can kind of contribute. I want to do a lot more. I've got a YouTube channel now where I'm trying to get more content. I've got some good ideas and some good funny things that I want to try to put on the table for the fans to just consume more content from me. So I'm gonna keep it up, guys. I'm gonna keep my Instagram growing too. So
yeah, you're doing a great job. The podcast with Bisbing is also awesome.
Obviously, the Believe You Me podcast with Michael. I know Mike's even talking about bringing it back to 2 times a week and staying even busier. But with our travel schedule, that's the only thing. The fans were getting on us because we'll miss a couple here and there. It's like, I swear to God, we're trying. But when he's in, you know, Rio and maybe I'm in Vancouver, it's like it's really hard to line up those schedules.
Well, you're doing a great job, man. And especially you just had another kid recently too, right?
Yeah, with 3 girls now, 10, 3, and just over 2 months.
Are we done or?
Well, I think I'm done. My wife's younger than me, so I think she's got the potential desire for maybe a boy, but let's be honest. I think at this rate I'm going to pull a Volkanovski and I'll just end up with 4 girls, but I'm okay with that too.
Something in the fighter chromosomes that leads to all girls. So. All right, Paul, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dude.